So, the B2601 I recently purchased used just hit 2 years old. And I have a whole bunch of little hydraulic oil leaks throughout the machine. Then I recently bought a grapple. I went to use it and I just got groaned at as soon as I went to operate the cylinder. So, it's time to change out my hydraulic fluid. I figured I would drain it all down, fix all my little leaks, and then top off my system. So what I did was I went ahead to my local Kubota dealership and I bought 5 gallons of hydraulic fluid. Now the capacity on this machine is only 4 gallons, but figure with the extra cylinder on there, the extra hoses, it's nice to have a bit of fluid on hand, especially if I end up getting more implements down the road which come empty. Every time you connect an implement to your front end, you're using up a little bit of your hydraulic fluid. So you really want to make sure that you have something laying around so that you can top off your machine from time to time. So I just completed it. I made an absolute mess, but I'm going to walk you through the process so that hopefully it's a lot cleaner when you do it. So you really only need a couple things here. Just a regular 3/8 ratchet. I have a 11/16 socket. Let me make sure that's correct. An 11/16 socket and a 1/2 inch. You need at least 4 gallons. I bought these 2.5 gallon containers. You need a funnel, a drain pan, and a bucket. Now, these drain pans typically don't hold 4 gallons. So what you want to do is drain from one point, close it off, empty your drain pan, and then complete the rest of your drain points. Creeper also makes things a hell of a lot easier. So let's go ahead, we'll get underneath this thing, and then I'll show you where your drain points are and your order in which you should do them in to make things as neat as possible. So in this unit, there's actually 3 different drain points. And we have our first one right here. That's going to be an 11/16 hex head bolt. That's right on the front of my, my mid-PTO output shaft. And then back here, you have one on each axle here. Sorry, I'm not pointing at it. Now, if you follow these around the pumpkin, these are all, I believe, 11/16. And then you hit one right on the bottom in the middle, that's a 1/2 inch. Now, these are all painted. And when you go to put a combination wrench on there, or even an 11-point socket, it's not going to fit on there very well. So you want to put a 6-point on there, and you'll get a nice tight grip. Now what I did was, I started on this end. You have one of these 1/2 inch bolts on each side. I started on this end, and since it's full, you get this nice steady stream that sprays right all over your back tire. And once it does that, it makes an absolute mess of your floor. So what I suggest, don't do what I did. Put your drain pan under this one first. Undo this one. It'll drain straight down into your drain pan. And it's going to drain for, at least 15 minutes. I honestly, I just walked away from it. If you think about how long a truck takes, that's only 5 quarts. Think about how long that takes to drain down. This is 4 gallons. So it's over 3 times as much capacity. It's going to take a little while. Just leave it alone. So once that drains down all the way, tighten that back up. I haven't been able to find a torque setting in the owner's manual. Just make it nice and tight. Okay, don't go crazy. Don't strip the damn thing out. From there, go to either one of these. You have to drain from both of them. Just doesn't matter which order you go in. You're going to notice when you undo these, a lot less fluid's going to come out. It's not going to spray all over the place because you've taken the majority out from here. Now, one thing I can recommend with a drain pan like mine, I drained from here, put the bolt back in, then emptied my drain pan in a 5-gallon bucket that I had laying around. Then from there, I drained these guys. Pretty important because if your drain pan doesn't hold 4 gallons, it's going to overflow. You're going to make an absolute mess out of your floor. So just empty out the drain pan in between. No big deal. Your oil filter, or your hydraulic oil filter, is right here. You use just a regular oil filter wrench, an automotive one, to take the damn thing off, put a new one on. When you put the new one on, you're going to want to dip your finger in some fresh hydraulic oil and just rub it around the O-ring that's in there, and clamp down on this. Make sure you have a nice tight seal. Okay, let's head on up. Okay, so once you have everything drained out, maybe do the same thing I did. I went around to each one of my hoses and I just took them apart, cleaned them, and snugged them all back up again. Hopefully I don't have any more leaks after this is done. I didn't use Teflon or dope or anything like that on any of the flared fittings. I think they're and fittings. Someone can correct me on that. But I didn't use any Teflon or dope on those. Any pipe fittings, pipe NPT fittings are designed to be used with Teflon. So yes, use Teflon on those. But the majority of the stuff on the machine, like all these guys, these are flared fittings. You're not supposed to use Teflon on them. Anyway, so your fill is here. You got a rubber plug sticking here. Pop the rubber plug out, throw a funnel in there, start filling. If you buy the 1 gallon containers, it's probably easier. You know, you do the 3 gallons, or you get to like 3.5 gallons, and then you start checking your dipstick. You want to fill it up until you hit this point here. You have the 2 lines, bottom line, top line. You want to hit that top line. Once you hit that top line, that you know that's your fill point. So throw that back in, take your funnel out, throw your cap in there, plug that all up. Maybe let the machine sit a couple of minutes. I don't know if it's entirely necessary, but it certainly can't hurt. Let your fluid settle or whatever. Start your machine up. Don't drive it anywhere like that. You'll see your owner's manual specifically states do not operate the machine immediately after changing the fluids. They don't want you driving around. This fluid's the same as your transmission. They want to get you up to pressure. So start your machine up. Let it get to temperature. Not really to temperature. Let it warm up for a couple minutes, and then you can operate your front end loader, and then try to operate your PTO. If your 3-point does not lift up for you, go ahead and turn your wheel back and forth a couple times. That's going to help bleed air from your system. So do that, I don't know, 5-6 times. Then try your 3-point again. After you're all done there, you can power the tractor back down again. Flip your seat back up. Pull your dipstick out. Wipe it off. Make sure you wipe it clean. Pop it back in. Check to make sure that your fluid is still at that 2nd line. Okay. Now again, if it's at that line, perfect. You're done. That's it. Again, if you have any implements, if you have implements that use a hydraulic cylinder like your 3rd function kit or a rear remote, you might want to connect those and set those up, then check your fluid again. So like I said, I have a brand new grapple. I'm going to connect that, let my fluid run through the new grapple, and then check my levels again, because it very well might drop. I have the hoses, I have the cylinder, that all takes volume. But other than that, you're all set. Just wipe up any sort of mess that you have made, and you're good to go. Anyway, hope that helps. Thanks for watching.